Gotta set your levels, man. I'm getting my stream ready. Trying to set all my levels up. Trying to make sure I sound good. Trying to see what's going on. I got everything turned all the way up, apparently. I just have sounded louder before. Is that... Maybe these are too loud. Who knows? I got a little clippy bar. Yeah, maybe I just need to sit back here. Here we go. Not showing off anything that I don't want to. Just trying to get my shit calibrated here. I need to go to Go Live over on Monitor 3. I also love this song, so I kind of want this to play out. Encoder live streaming. And I think it's the same link that I had last night, but I need to call this something else. Into the Night with Incomitatum. I like that. Let's call this storytelling and bullshit. Into the Night with Incomitatum. Welcome, viewer. You are into the night with Incomitatum. That's me, folks. Yeah, so then I need to share this link out. Doing it live, popping a squat in the stars and talking about the wheel and story structure some. Now this is not the right link though, because it would have changed. Anything at all. Yeah, that's a good song. I love it. Wait, did it pick back up again? I didn't remember it starting again. That's cool. Alright. I think that this title is just wrong though, right? Maybe if I refresh the page. Let's see what it does over on Google. Does it have the right thing? Storytelling and bullshit. Yeah, it pulls in the right thing. So we are live. Have been live for 3 minutes. But I'm going to have to refill my coffee, get a little bit more to eat before I settle in. It's a little cold here in the studio tonight. Maybe get my hoodie. You know, get all snuggly while I let the music go. Part of that intro that I'm going to trim off, right? So I've been watching more and studying more about YouTube and how to run things behind the scenes and how you can make a highlights reel out of your shows after they syndicate. It's all important stuff for me to know. So I have people, more and more clients who are very excited about doing the YouTube thing. I need to be able to counsel them accordingly. Sometimes you don't know if you don't do it. Alright. I'll just put a disclaimer. This thing has the wrong title. Episode 2. Maybe that's some other shit too though. Did I change the 2? That's some other shit. That's Pinterest. Nope. Your changes are being saved. All changes are now saved. Alright. I'm going to leave it on this picture as I broadcast. After these messages, folks, I will be right back. Can I chat? Can I type in the chat my damn self? AFK BRB bio. Five minutes. Yeah. Alright, I'm gonna go do my thing and come on back. See you cats soon. Sounds like I'm still broadcasting. I didn't go get my hoodie though. So, where are we? It's always good to set the scene. We're 8 minutes in. The studio. Maybe the studio is on a boat in the middle of a place broadcasting into the night on YouTube somehow. I've got some rotisserie chicken off to my left. I've got some mind-stifling cold brew coffee. Some rubber cement. I've got a studio puppers named Kratos, after the character in God of War, for reasons. Not actually a huge fan of the franchise, but that's his name. And he's helping me eat rotisserie chicken dunked in soy sauce. Man. So what am I doing over here? Part of what I want to talk to you guys about tonight is consistency, I guess. Last night I did an nearly 4-hour-long art stream. And the problem with that is that once you do a thing, you have got to decide if that was worth doing, and do you want to keep at it? Can you keep doing it? Was it too much? What were some of the stress points for me? Very low stress. Once I got it all figured out. Thanks to this program here. It's running in the tray. SMG. It's what allows me to listen to music while I do this. It helps set a mood. It helps spark my mind, my imagination. Yeah. I've in being inspired to be myself, and I think that everybody should do this. When you want to summon your flow state, you've got to know what music is it that sets that vibe that you need to get shit done. That's why tonight, even though yesterday I had a bunch of royalty-free music, this also is Creative Commons music. I just got 9 Inch Nails Ghosts and 9 Inch Nails The Slip. I have some central defining pillars of my own, and 9 Inch Nails is a big part of that. Can I duplicate this? Oh, I can have a cheat sheet on my other monitor. I'm just a little prepared to do this. Mildly prepared is one of my aspects tonight. I get a soft +1 or 2. So, we are soon days away. How many days? 1, it's tonight. Okay, so I guess the cosmos is also telling me that this is why I'm doing this tonight. But, you know what I love? I love storytelling. It's a big part of who I am, man. I love to tell stories, whether they're role-playing stories or just fish tales or being weird and just making up cartoons in your head, kind of like interdimensional cable, just going off on a tangent. You're gonna find that about me. But I'm also very if half of my brain is creative, the other half is very analytical. It's like, all right, well, there's got to be a way to do this with consistency. I think that when you can make something formulaic, rote, consistent, you take the fear out of it. You take the uncertainty out. You want to know your shit so well that you not knowing how to do your shit is not part of the drama. Where are you at on this wheel of pain, this wheel of life, this wheel of chaos? You don't even know what this is, but you're staring at it because I've been letting it hover here. I might be being rude. I think I'm eating on the microphone, and that's gross and rude. Sorry, guys. See? Gotta get used to this. Episode 2, he eats on the microphone, and it's gross. I guess I'm not smacking. Don't do that. Gotta get my mirrors going the way that I need them, though, man. Right? So, what I'm trying to say is, NaNoWriMo, the dog wants all this chicken. Can you make things formulaic? Can you take a story, take moments, this is very optimistic music, take moments, optimistic moments as you hold hands under the autumn trees. I'm a very reductive person. I like to say, what are we talking about? And break it down, and break it down, and break it down, and figure out how to remix and restyle those elements so we can make a thing our own. Kind of like remodeling in a house. We have the idea of a story. You pigeon it into a genre, and you're like, yeah, but you know, I'm going to knock out this wall and paint it blue. And instead of a wall, it's going to be a deck. Okay. It's all very dramatic sounding to this music. You go smaller and smaller and smaller, and I'm even dealing with this as I try and think about pinning a role-playing game together. I want to write to 8th grade me. I want to fucking touch fingers like E.T. and send a love letter back to 8th grade me and say, play the shit out of this game. Learn this shit even earlier. Yeah. My pedigree, I grew up with Star Wars 2nd Edition, the West End games, one with the D6. Yeah, for sure, man. Good stuff. I gotta hit share now if I want to get any. Yeah, here's the thing, if you don't hit share on the post, looking at the other monitor, you gotta broadcast your junk out there. You gotta broadcast your junk. Alright. I guess I never shared it with the folks on Discord. Creativity and Cthulhu. Storytelling and bullshit. See, here's the other thing. I don't have a PowerPoint tonight. When it came to the art, I could break it down into steps. But even tonight, I need to, like, I'm trying to find the formula for podcasting all over again. Do they have a room over here for GMing? Game Masters. Yeah, that's... Here we do. Alright. Where are we at? Nope, that's the wrong program. Here we go. 15 minutes of bullshit. I was reading some stats last night that a lot of improv shows fucking piss away the first hour. So then they trim that off as kind of a setup. It also means havering, talking about some bullshit, waiting for the room to fill up before you put on your show. If there's no one here, I'm not going to put on the show, man, right? Nah, fuck that, man. The show must go on, even if no one's in the room. It happened. It happened. You can play to an empty house for nights on end, but you still play it, for then you know it forwards and backwards. Might have to kick the dog out of this room though. Studio dog is getting whiny. He's a little tiny black ball of fluff. He is my spirit animal. Yep. I tie the part of my feast to him. Every meal he gets just about one little bite. What could I do you for today, friend? Yeah, so I got a lot of stuff I want to talk about. Role-playing. This role-playing game that I'm making. Trying to needle some things out in my head, style-wise. My beautiful wife is a good sounding board in that regard. But, sometimes you need a little more, man. Sometimes, I really hate developing in a vacuum. But you also have to for a little while. You've got to give a thing shape enough that we can tell that it's at least a baby, no matter how ugly it is. If you're like, hey, look at this game I designed, and it's 2 words, and the words are, help me make this game. No, help me. Yeah. People don't want to come and do that. They want to see that you've got enough of a foundation going, and then you're like, hey, look at this weird little thing I'm diddling on. Diddling's not a good word. Doodling? Yeah. Haddly hoodly. So I guess tonight I'm going to start with the story embryo shit. I'm doing this stream because I've been talking about these subjects a lot. So I'm going to talk about 2 ideas in tandem because they help me a lot. Because I'll leave my mouse. I'll lead you through this story with my mouth. Mouse. Well, with my voice as well. The other part in this is, you know, can I be the guy that puts out podcasts and talks to a mic for an hour or 2 or 3 or 4? How long does this go on? As long as it needs to, man. You can't stop the signal, bro. You can't stop it, dude. I promise I'm just stalling for time. Not only is there not hardly anybody in here, The great archivist is in here. Stan Lee is watching wherever he is. The Watcher is watching, for it's what he does. So, I got this stuff. I'm looking up Save the Cat by Blake Snyder. Let's talk about it first. Let's get this talk out of the way, because I'm going to refer to it. Save the Cat. Let's look at this together. It's kind of like looking at an awful children's book. Save the Cat. He does some more shit. Some more Save the Cat. All right. So, what the hell? What the hell is this? This is a book that Blake Snyder wrote. Oh, he's dead? Well, that's sad. Now I feel a little bad for talking shit about him, but he died on my birthday. Well, shit. Yeah, that shit scares me. Alright, so why do we make it all, friends? What's our mantra around these parts of the woods? Why do we make? Because we're gonna die. Chant it with me, class. We're gonna die. Yeah, now say it with a smile. Fatalism, embrace that shit, because it's the only reason to do anything at all. It's not gonna matter anyway, so be whoever you want. Leave me alone. Just let me be who I want to be until I'm dead. Don't hasten that end. Who do you want to be? What pillars are you built on? Getting reductive? You know, I want to basically be PBS. What's that look like? Old PBS when I grew up. I want to be a bit dash of Sesame Street and Mr. Rogers. Read between the lines. I want to be a little NPR, a little voice. The voice in the wilderness. Hello there, friends. I'm Savage Dan, and I'm talking to you about putting your fires out. I don't know, man. And sometimes the song dictates the conversation, too. I mean, I'm trying to talk over the back of this. Maybe I should have curated something a little better. Maybe I should find a peaceful song and put it on a loop so that my brain can do a thing. Corona Raid. I think I like this one. As sure as he said it, he knew he had to try it. Yeah, this is a good one. Alright, it gets a little rambly. Alright, we're talking about Blake Snyder. It's sad that he died. I should have known that. I didn't do hardly any preparation. I talk about this to plenty of people. I'm trying to see if I have enough material to turn it into a talk, to give a little bit of a talk on it. Dude, it's Mr. Moon. I gotta remember that this thing has mirrors. If I have 3 monitors, I should be looking at monitor 3 every now and then. So, if I don't call out to you right away, it's because I was looking elsewhere. I guess if I wanted to do a talk like this, I should have put on my webcam. Ah, well, too late for that. I kind of like not having a face, I guess. I'm not ready to show it off. There's a pretty picture, though. It's from Game of Thrones or White Princess or something. Yeah. So we got my buddy Moon in here. Hey Moon, what's up? I'm talking about storytelling tonight as it applies to life and business and how to tell a dramatic story and make people give a shit. This is also on the cusp of NaNoWriMo, if people want to try that. I need to do some math. I'm going to say this is the part where I do math because I'm going to show my calculator. This will be a nice anchor for visually and also to help me find this part in the video again. So what the hell is NaNoWriMo? Yeah, sometimes when you don't know what you're talking about, just go down another level. NaNoWriMo is November. Hey, here's the thing. November 1st through 30th. And I need to take this off loop. I'm going to drop that other music in there. Maybe I'm just getting caught up by all the 9 Inch Nails. Easily distracted tonight. Oh, hey Moon, give me a number between 1 and 11. Moon, I've sent the signal out. It has to hit him, come back to me. He's got to type it out. But my good buddy Moon is out there holding the torch. We're the night shift, mother. That's 7. Here we go. Roll the dice 7 times. Well, this isn't bad. What does this remind you of? And so that's part of what I want to talk about is improv, going where your brains go. If the bad guy got me in his lair and said, "Tell me a story," I think that I'm just good enough that I could bullshit something. Visual cues, assumptions. Here's some music. Maybe this is the hottest place you've never been in your own town. Soda Sopa. Have you always wanted a sweater that was just a little too big? Have you ever had tiny ribs with lots of sauce? What about that lady? Are you even allowed to bring dogs in here? Soda Sopa. It's over there, man. See, that's the kind of shit that makes me happy. I'm blessed that I get to be a dork. My mother raised me to be a weirdo. How do you freestyle? My new phrase is lean into it. It sounds a little dirty. I guess I could move off of my music list. But yeah. And Dan Harmon talks about that some. He talks about if you have a story with a banana in it, it's kind of like, you know, if it looks like a duck and quacks like a duck, it better be a duck. If you have a story with a banana in it, or this shape, and I hold this up to you in improv or even storytelling, and you look at that thing, and I tell you it's a pepper, it runs against the grain of what we would assume. Now, if for story reasons it's important that that's a pepper, then great. Tell me more about that. But if you're just calling out shit to say my place, my world, my scene is different than you would expect, it's not important. So, yeah, let a thing be what it is until you defy our expectations. This kind of music, all right, you know, it's a swanky jazz club rendition of, it might be a perfume commercial. Part of storytelling is the same language, the zeitgeist of who you're talking to. Being fluid, and I wouldn't say fake, but a little like mystique. I had to pause the microphone before I sneezed, and that would have been very loud and rude, so. But yeah, fluid. Quick on your feet. If I'm talking to one guy and I need to say something to him, I'm going to change my verbiage. Oh, see? We're going to change our verbiage, and we're going to... Have you been to Soda Sopa's craziest swanky club? Yeah, it's okay that she has a dog in here. But your sweater is cute, too. I really should write some of this shit out, but the comic notion that you need to repeat things 3 times for it to stick, for it to stick in the psyche. Let me turn this shit down a little bit. For it to stick in the psyche of who you're talking to, things need to get mentioned 3 times. That's in great storytelling. That's in great marketing. Ask them, you know, do you really ask them to sign here, here, and here? Sign that shit 3 times. There's magic in the number 3. All right, are you ready to write a novel? Well, what the hell? That's very intimidating. Write a novel in a month. I was looking for the word count, and then I got NaNoWriMo word count. Close enough. I got greasy chicken fingers. All right, so let's do some visual math. You got to write 1,667 words per day. Let's just round that up to 2,000. You're trying to do some exercise. You're trying to go, hey, I have a goal. I told Moon, I tell all my clients and friends, if you don't measure it, it's not science. And you need it to be science so you can see how you're growing. Are you growing tangential to the direction you want to go? Are you growing at all? Are you shrinking? All of these things, if you don't measure it, how do you even know, man? So, what are we doing? We are opening up a new document. I use Google Docs. I use this cool plugin to help me write that makes everything dark. It reminds me of the days I grew up in, on the old monitors in the dark with the amber colored screens and the old word processors. But let's say, let's go to Lipsum and just get us 2,000 words. And this is how I show most people in real time not to be too intimidated. I already have this set up the way I like it. I like justified text. I like double space or 1.5 spacing. I like Courier New. 1, 2, 3 and a half, 4. Let's just call it 4 pages. It's not too bad. Could you write 4 pages for 31 days? This is the more grueling. Like, if you, hey folks, if you thought that Inktober was hard and you're just a creative person flailing about like me, this is hard too. I'm taking stock of NaNoWriMo to see if I can even do it. Can you write 2,000 words? Well, I got a calculator here. 2,000 words. In fact, this here says that when it randomly made these paragraphs for me, it had this many bytes, which is basically characters. 13,463. Didn't the length of tweets change? I used to use tweets as my analogy. Historically, 140 characters, but I thought they doubled it. People are tweeting more, but not longer. Or 280 characters. So let's say it's a big tweet. No, let's just say a regular sized tweet. Could you make 96 tweets? So, could you make 96 tweets a day? Do you like elephants? Moon says as I look over at monitor 3. And then you're like, well, most people would say, what about? Okay, maybe you are the person, you're like, yeah, I could tweet that much. It's not the writing that's the problem. It's not the math. It's not going the distance. It's how do I get there? I can go. He's like, oh, I can sprint 100 miles, no problem. But I don't go anywhere because I have no need to go anywhere. I don't know where I want to go. I don't know what's out there. Everything is out there. Praise the Lord that imagination, especially when you share it with your friends through books or movies or anything, but even just sitting around a campfire telling stories, storytelling is group hallucination. I love that. We can share in a fiction for a time. I didn't answer the question. All right. Okay. Do you like elephants? I do like elephants overall. I like the idea of them. Yeah, I wouldn't want to own one. And I'm generally concerned about elephant rights and cruelty to animals, but didn't care for Dumbo. Not a fan of pink elephants on parade. No, man. But elephant does remind me of another bullshit exercise. In choir, they taught us to mouth the word watermelon elephant. And if you're singing along with your other choir friends and you forget the words, but you know the sound you need to make, just fall back on watermelon elephant. It works in animation too. Not well. It looks like the, that early Japanime stuff, but it's like, well, I don't want to do a proper mouth cycle, so I just modeled the word watermelon elephant like he was saying that, and then I just put that in a loop. And I pause it when he's not talking. So, watermelon elephant. Maybe that should be my next sculpture. Feel free to jump in any time. Oh, yeah, we're on a little bit of a lag. I forgot about that. Moon says, just getting Christmas presents lined out. Yeah, man. And I don't get it. I mean, I'm becoming a little more of a hippie. I'm not quite into chakras and stuff yet. Not quite, but, I like, there's a huge overlap with, like, Indian culture and chakras and elephants, and I'm having elephants in my day-to-day more often. I don't mind the symbology. I don't feel a kinship, because I don't got a memory for nothing, but apparently elephants never forget. Rock on, dude. Now I gotta ask because of the... So Moon says it's a leatherworking project he has in mind. Is it elephant leather? Drink more coffee. Hopefully it's not elephant leather. That's bad. Alright, coffee. Nah, that's too expensive. Alright. So, I think I'm settling into the role a little bit better. I had a thing open earlier. We'll just come back over here with it. Curriculum. What are we doing? This here. Oh, yeah, we were talking about Save the Cat. And what does that have to do with anything? Dan Starman's hoary embryo. Dan Harmon's story embryo is important. You might have heard of stuff like this. You might have heard of the hero's journey. You might have heard of a 3-act play. This is similar. What I love about this is something that it touches on that I had realized right around the same time that I found this rubric. The 4-act play is a little easier to bend to traditional media now, like videos and episodes and things, because it breaks in such a way that you have this nice middle right in the middle. See how this whole wheel, this spinning chaos, this order and disorder, it has a pattern and a rhythm to it. And when you start to study this real hard, you realize the universe does too. I'm not going to go down too many layers, but life happens in oscillation. Good days and bad days. If you haven't read the book Hamlet's Hit Points, you want to do that. It talks about breaking scenes down into basically white or black flags. If you write a scene by yourself or even with friends in a role play, extrapolating up a higher level and saying, before you even get to the conclusion, we know how we want the scene to end. We want it to be a high note or a bad note. Do you want the music to be happy or sad? Set the tone and map that out on a line. And you kind of want an equal amount of both until you get to this part. The underworld, the death, the chaos. This whole... Let me tell you this story real quick. You're a dude, you need something, so you gotta go get it. You're really looking for it, and you find it, but you find that if to get it, you had to pay a price, whether you knew it or not, whether it was willingly or not. And in that, you have to take control. You have to basically make peace with the fact that you paid that price. You don't just find it and pay the price, but you take all of that and you burst up back into where you came from, back into the normal. You start out in a normal state. You go around, holy shit, this is a weird day. Bam, oh, I'm home again. Let's hope tomorrow isn't like that. That's a story. A normal everyday thing is not dramatic unless it has some conflict hidden in it somewhere. Yo, Martha, let me tell you about my day. I went to the store, I got the dogs, and and I got some shampoo. That's 3 things you did. Now, if you had said, I went to the store, I got some dogs, I got some shampoo, and by the way, we're out of beer, holy shit, conflict. Now I need something, because you alluded to it. Maybe it's Fritos. It doesn't have to be beer, but, Martha, we're out of beer. That was the voice I was doing, so. Taking a break, exhaling. Life is circular breathing, man. Don't drown. When I was little, I wanted a time machine. Here's a real story. Now I gotta find where the conflict is. There was a little bit of conflict. Okay, I can go here. So here's the story. Because I had seen things like Back to the Future and Quantum Leap, I took all the toys that were mechanical in nature. I took some radios that I'd taken apart, parts of an old TV, a computer. I crammed them into my closet. Now, I had a cool closet because I had a 2-story bed. I had a bed that had a desk in it, and there was a hardback wall to the desk, so there was a little crawl space where your legs would go. You could get back up in there, and I built a time machine in there, Quantum Leap style. Yeah, so mostly the story is I built a time machine. Where is the... Where's the conflict? The conflict is I was an Air Force brat and I had to move every 2 years-ish, 2.5, 3 years. So, as cool as my time machine was, we had to move. I had to take all that crap down, pack it in a box. And after that house, I never had a time machine. Where did I go next? Time machine me moved to Idaho. And that's a whole different story. Moon says, by the way, I don't really read much, but Cassandra got me a Got me reading a book and listening to an audiobook by the same author, and now I have a favorite author. Moon, who is this favorite author? What is this book about? Let's talk about it. I'm going to Google it when you give me some 411s. I'll at least look at the Wikipedia article and see if it sounds interesting. My little dog here, Kratos, you're so cute. He just wants parts because I got chicken up on a plate. Ouch. He's like Black Ein almost from Cowboy Bebop, if you're wondering about Kratos. He's rescue, but he's definitely got some core gear. He can sploot. You know what? He's not really a corgi, but he can sploot. Moon, Moon, Moon. What's the name of that book? Anyway, Moon's going to get me the answer to that. Let's just go on. I made this document, by the way, some time ago. You can read about Dan Harmon, the whole concept. You can go to the wiki at channel 101. Oh, I actually made that a link. Good for me. I don't know how I did that. I mean, when I encoded it into the PDF. Maybe it just was smart. This is the biggest one I want to talk about, is you. Tom Robbins. I'm reading B is for Beer and listening to the audiobook Via Incognito. Let us read more about Via Incognito. Okay, what's this about? The Hidden Village? Well, okay, the author opens the novel with the line, "It has been reported that Tanuki fell from the sky using his scrotum as a parachute." Oh, I know what a Tanuki is. For the viewers at home, let's look at that cute Tanuki. Bee! Yeah, they're Japanese little trash pandas. There's part badger, part raccoon. Let's make this just a little more geeky. Tanuki suit. Super Mario 3. There's one that's cute. Right? Trash panda. The sad truth. Anyway, yeah, let's read more about here. The story begins with the story of Tanuki, an ancient Japanese badger-like creature who possesses the ability to shapeshift in a penchant for sake and women. Tanuki is a semi-god with an unusually large scrotum and is portrayed alongside a beautiful young female character who continues Tanuki's lineage with the use of chrysanthemum seed embedded in the roof of her mouth. What? 3 American MIAs who deliberately remain in Laos long after the United States involvement with the... What? What? Okay. It's like, alright, happy anime. Wait a minute, real world stuff with the United States. Long after the United States involvement in the Vietnam War. Okay. So, is it a part fantasy? Is the Tanuki her spirit animal? Kind of like American Gods? Yeah. Like, can Tanuki come out of nowhere and help influence things in her favor for better or worse? And this seems neat. See, I like saying that bullshit is going to be part of the stream up front. It gives me just enough of an out. This music is also fantastic, by the way. It helps slow my brain down. Can I rate stuff in VLC? This is, which one is this? Corona Radiata. Nope. There's no star system. Anyway, so I got a book that Carolyn Greener gave me. Sharp Teeth by Toby Barlow. Now, she gave this to me at the Halloween party, and I gave her My Little Ravenos. I'm going to set this right here on the other side of my coffee, and I want to look it up. Sharp Teeth. Because I could read the back of the book, but I want to see what this says. The official website. I want to read it so you can read it on the screen while I read it. Whoa, Sharp Teeth, the book in some Japanese. Okay, we are not where we... oh boy, we are not where we intended to be. And I don't see any Tanuki. She might know where I can find this Tanuki character. Wow. I'm gonna try and be a little more appropriate though. So that took us into a strange place. Don't go to the official website. Let's type it into Amazon. I'm a little rattled now. Oh my god. Sharp Teeth. Here we go. Sharp Teeth, a novel. What's this about? I mean, I want to read it because Carolyn recommended it. Oh, Carolyn, I'm seeing a theme and with the stuff she's recommending me, and I'm loving it. It's werewolves. So the first thing she had me read was that called Rust? By Chuck Palahniuk. It had to do with sexually transmitted rabies and werewolves, and it was great. It's this, Rant. Wow. So I said thank you, because last year she gave me a book to walk away from her Halloween party with. This year she gave me Sharp Teeth. What does it say? I don't like this bright stuff. Hocus pocus alamagocus, turn black. There we go. An ancient race of lycanthropes has survived to the present day, and its numbers are growing. Bent on dominance, rival factions are initiating the down and out of LA into their ranks. Caught in the middle are Anthony, a kind-hearted, love-sick dog catcher, and the object of his affection, a female werewolf who has abandoned her pack. I can dig it. If I had more of my role-playing friends on here, I'd be like, hey, man. Because I got some ideas. So let's look up the premise for something else. Oh, and she said a couple things. First of all, I guess... let's look at the back of the damn book. What does it say, friends? If Ovid had been raised on a steady diet of Marvel Comics, Roger Corman, and MTV, he might have written something like Toby Barlow's Sharp Teeth. It's everything you'd expect from such an odd and potent hybrid, highly addictive, enormously enjoyable, and unexpectedly moving. Scott Smith, author of The Ruins and A Simple Plan. He says that about Sharp Teeth. Something about Warren Ellis? I don't know how... and in fact, I remember hearing that, and even this, The Watchmen. She says it was written in a nice style, like Rust. Rant. It was called Rant. Rant was written in such a way. I love the trope. It's hard to work into making storytelling games, but I love the trope of the unreliable narrator. And that's what this book was. It was a collection of stories, all linear, basically interviews with this dead guy's friends, getting to know this guy, but they're all saying these different things, and they don't quite line up because they all remember him differently. But they remember that he could party like a monk, and, he was always biting girls and giving them rabies, and had a strange sort of mind control. I mean, it was written from the dude who wrote Fight Club, so expect a lot of weirdness, but it was still a good book. Yeah, so, when you're telling a story, you can still, let's bring this back around to some shit, but you can tell a story on paper with this wheel of chaos and order. And then you can chop that story up and decide how you package it for consumption. You can tell it out of order, upside down and backwards. But this formula can really help you get on track. So it's like, all right, divide it. You have a story. What did we say? 50,000 words? $50 times 31. No, 50,000 divided by 31. There we go. So what's 50,000 divided by 8? That's reasonable. What if you had to tell a story in just 8 chapters? What if you had to tell a story in 8 chapters? This seems doable. Every chapter would be 6,000 words. You could get that done in a month, right? But kick your way out of the construct that is NaNoWriMo. Could you write 6,250 words a month? When the normal NaNoWriMo requires you to write about 2,000 words a day, can you give yourself some slack and still consider yourself a writer? If you take 8 months to write your novel. See? Yeah, when you just look at the math and the distance needed to go as a writer, could you take your 50,000 words and chop it into 8 pieces and put it on this wheel? Okay, Moon. So Moon says he thinks he could, but it wouldn't make a lick of sense. Let me wet my palate and we'll do some talking. I also would like to say a thing real quick. I'm seeing that I'm drawing up on the first hour of bullshitting. I think I could do another hour. It'd be neat if we got some other voices and ideas in here, but I'm going to be on the Wobbly Python Drawing Circus. Let's Google that shit. Wobbly Python Drawing Circus. I'm going to be on the Wobbly Python Drawing Circus this Saturday from 7 to 8. I don't know if it's an hour long. Anyway, 7 p.m. Mountain Time. I'm about to take a quick bio break, refill my water bottle, kick and let the dog out. And then Moon says he could write a 50,000 word novel in 8 chunks, but it wouldn't make a lick of sense. And that's exactly what I want to talk to all of you about when I get back.
I want to say maybe Michael Keaton, just because I loved those movies. Even though I don't love him as an actor.
But he did such a fine Batman. He's one that was...
He did.
Well, they almost didn't ruin it by having an origin, but he needed an origin in the very first, like, the Tim Burton ones, back when they were first doing the Batmans and all the beginning comic book movies.
Did you say Tim Burton Batman?
That's by Tim Burton.
I
Wait,
did
what?
not know that.
With Michael Keaton and Jack Nicholson as the Joker.
Oh,
No wonder I freaking love it.
Yeah. No, I love the Michael Keaton Batman. I just really like I love Batman Returns because the Penguin is such a sad character, but Danny DeVito makes him so cruel and fun. So
Oh man, I had forgotten that those were a thing that exists. Also, this is your 2-minute warning, artists. You got 2 more minutes to add details and make sure that you got a Batman. No, guys, I host an art game show for the internet. Like, man, I don't know things about Batman. Not specific things, at least.
you should have been born in the 80s. Come on, you've seen the Batmans.
One
You've seen
day.
the Tim Burtons.
I mean, I should have, most definitely.
Let's see if this actually works. Ooh, yeah.
The bat always is different depending on his outfit, and I know I've got comic book nerds in this channel, and I'm gonna disappoint every single one of them.
I'm surprised no one enjoyed Bat Nipple Batman from with George Clooney as the Batman.
That may be my favorite Batman. I want to imagine that Professor Cypress is standing out in the audience with a sign that says "Give him the nips," as opposed to just shouting it in chat. That's a level of dedication and commitment that I could respect.
Which one do you want nipples on?
Oh yeah, Batman's got hold
Both
on.
of them, right?
I believe the audience answer is just yes.
We didn't come here for DC Batman. We need Spooky Dinosaur and Dino and Adrian Batman. They really want the nips. I'm gonna do it if I can color this bat in time.
Well, you've got 15 seconds to get that going.
Oh shit.
This is fantastic already.
What, big pink nips? That's what we're looking for?
And that's time. Pens down, everybody. Let us.
No nips.
Let us. All right, the nips are cheating, but the nips were cheating anyway.
Tiny.
Do the bat
Technically, one nip was cheating. There, I'll take away because I was at the time with one nip.
Single nip Batman.
Single nip Batman.
I'm Batman. You can tell because I only have one nipple. So I really like that you've got the skulking along in the shadows Batman on the left, and very disappointed that you teens are doing drugs in this alley, Batman.
Oh my god.
we got
Don't do
a
drugs.
excellent disparity in the bats right now. Let's see. Oh boy. Let's scroll down in the list here, pull one from the hat, and see what we can get out of there. Oh, here we go. I've got.
Thanks for enduring that. Yeah, man, Wobbly Python. I can't wait to do that. And I need to test run my software too. Thanks for being here, boys and girls, ghouls and ghosts. You're into the night with Incomitatum. This is episode 2. I was talking about storytelling and bullshit, conflict and drama. One of the reasons that made my break a little longer. There's a problem. That's a story. You have a problem and you need to solve it. And how'd you get it done? What was that story? Well, we have a water filter and it slowed down me getting back to you because it's crappy. Gonna roll the dice 7 more times. This is a good song. It's played a couple times tonight, but I like it. Anyway, Moon had said, "What is this giant snake of unbalancing nature?" Yeah, this thing. So many tabs open. So, this is a wheel that explains how you can divide a story in a bit of a formula and have it be good. If you touch these points, it may be a bit sophomoric or elementary. It just might. You know what? It might not be the best story ever, but it will still be a good story. And it will be better than the story that you didn't finish writing. And so if this is shit, see, it's all about, well, I can't even write 100 words. Well, we want to build you up to the point that you can write 50,000 words twice a year, right? Oh, yes, the giant snake. Well, I thought you were talking about Ouroboros, which is the metaphor for this whole thing, the snake eating its tail. Wobbly Python, yeah, I'm going to be on his show Saturday at 7 p.m. Mountain Time, November 3rd, and yeah, it's you network with some artists. We know a lot from around the valley. If they've got a Wacom tablet or a digital input device, they use a program. It lets them telecast what they're drawing in with an audience, and then he mushes it all together and coordinates it into a light little bit of a improv drawing game show. Not, similar to Whose Line and other things. So, yeah, he's a good friend of mine. A guy that I could chat with for hours and be a nerd with. Moon also said that he could try and tell a story, but it wouldn't make a lick of sense. And, when that comes down to something else, do you have even a character in mind? Do you have a setting? I like to say, where are we going to eat? Make that the main question. When I'm leading discussions, be like, all right, kids, where are we going to eat? What's our genre? Are we telling a cyberpunk story? Are we telling a pirate story? Are we telling a western? Are we telling kids have magical powers and are trapped in the college? Is it horror, suspense? What kind of story do you want to tell? What are some of the larger flavors in this weird stew that you want to mix up? Hard to say, man. It can be. Genre is important. And you're going to touch on some of these things, and they're going to be hard questions to answer. Here's another play aid I wrote talking about breaking characters down into their big ideas. I'm going to write another take on this for my current role-playing game. I don't remember what the word count on this is, but yeah. You have the tunes, you draw them every night. Yeah, with the Wobbly Python thing, I'm going to throw in with him and, help amplify both of our signals for a time. That's going to be fun. Texture is weird. I don't quite know what he means that I already have the tunes. But, yeah. Yeah, so here's our document. Could we write 4 pages 31 times? And then, I guess let's do that. What's 31 divided by 4? It's 31 divided by 8. 3. $50,000 divided by 8. Yeah, so could you write 6,000 words every 3 days? Well, yeah, roughly you could. And then every 3 days, you'd start a new chapter. And could you do that in a month? Well, this is a fun song. Doo doo doo. Beep beep beep. Broke for free. The Great. Thanks, Broke for free. We're happy you came. Maybe the music's just a tad too loud, though. Let's turn that shit down, man. Alright. So we talked about sharp teeth. I'm going to do some reading. Maybe I should read a passage of a book. Does that defy copyright? This is Sharp Teeth, a novel. Let's see how this book opens up. Skip all the BS. Oh, it's kind of written like poetry. Let's roll the dice again. Tonight's lucky number is 7, as was decreed by Alan Mooney. Yeah, I can break down to this. Let's sing about the man there at the breakfast table. Brown skin, thin features, white tea. His olive hand making endless circles in the classifieds. Wanted. 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 They're all small jobs for little money. But you have to start somewhere, right? Here, LA, East LA. A quarter mile from where they pick up the mariachis on warm summer nights. 2 miles from La Senorita di Garibaldi's, where the panther black cars pause on their haunches while blonde women eat inside, wiping the blood-red mole from their quiet lips. Wanted. Wanted. He circles the paper, and then he reaches for the phone. Begins. He breathes deep and begins. Nope, sorry. Job was taken already. Good luck. Do you got any experience? Leave a message. Forget about it. You sound Mexican. Hola, are you Mexican? Call back on Monday. I don't know anything about that. No. 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 His barbed hook catches a thin gold vein. It struck. Buds of hope crack through the dry white earth. Oh, sure, come on by. What's your name? Dog catcher. Yeah, that's fun. I'm glad Carolyn gave me this. Dog catcher. I don't know if I could read the whole book like that, but that's fun too. It gives me some joy. I like stories about dogs. Oh, because we'd also been talking that night about the poetry of cake, and yeah, I like cake. This is not a cake song. Come on down to Billy Bob's Used Duck Shack. We've got 4 for $5. Anytime you buy one used duck, we'll get you the second one. Also, come on down to Billy Bob's Duck Shack. We're on East 39th in the corner. You know where the Fridays has that big pond in the back that filled up in the springtime and never evaporated, so nobody parks back there anymore. That's us. Wear socks. Life is good, right? What the hell are we talking about today, Moon? You and I should do a podcast together. Could you be Andy to my, fucking Conan, I guess? I hope that's not an insult. I mean, yeah. I hope you understand what I'm putting down. Where are we at, folks? We are... First of all, we're playing Jahazar's Last Dance. I have a lot of this stuff, actually, in the playlist by this band. It's all royalty-free. It's all high-quality stuff. Go look them up on Barely Legal Music. What's it called? free music archive. God Lord, barelylegalmusic.com. It's awful. Save the cat. Yeah, so here's the deal. Blake Snyder came out with a book. Apparently the dude died. That really threw me for a loop. That's why the show... They say that when you make a show like this, the first hour is pretty much going to be throwaway. And, yeah, reading... I was going to trash on this dude for making this shitty book, and then I figured out that he died on my birthday, and that unnerved me just a little, so I'm going to own up to my shit. Anyway, all that aside... There are those that postulate that the movies in Hollywood have gotten shitty because of how formulaic Save the Cat is. I say all this because I learned something from it despite all its other flaws. Let's turn the music down just a little. There we go. I learned something from Save the Cat despite all its other flaws, despite how formulaic it is. It tells you that you have to build an empathy. You have to build an empathy with those people that you know are your audience. They're out there, man. When you make a thing, and so when you want to build that empathy, you do it by being a little formulaic. And while it's too formulaic in some regards, I like the first part of the Save the Cat formula, and I think that it fits great with the story embryo. So where do we begin? You have a character. Let's make him a character real quick. Looking around my office. We're going to have a character. Getting pencil and paper. I'm going to call him Greg. Hey Moon, what's one thing that you can tell me about Greg? What's his attitude? That's a good word I'm trying to adopt. I used to use the word demeanor, but we're going to use attitude. What's one word that if Greg were a character in a video game, and you know, when you walk up to him, it tells us something about how he's going to respond to questions, how he stands, what's his posture. In one word, what's Greg's attitude? As we wait, that's okay. There's a time lag. It's like talking to Mars. It's better, though. Moon doesn't take 14 minutes round trip to answer, so... Thank you for being here with me tonight, Moon. I'm trying to say nice things. Don't take my gruffness about the time lag as a jumpy. Alright, Greg's a little jumpy. So, here's a story about Greg and he's jumpy. And this is fun because everything is extrapolation from everything else. I'm going to ask Moon some more questions, but I have some assumptions. And, you know, we're going to play this out. I'm going to say some things and Moon's going to latch on to it. But Greg is jumpy. Right away, it's easy. Here's the low-hanging fruit. He's jumpy because he's a tweaker, right? That you could do that. There's nothing wrong with that. Greg said, but maybe he's nervous. Maybe he's jumpy all the time because the mob just came after him. You know, like, what's cool? I got a few ideas. I like that mob stuff, actually. I like the dude's voice, where I might go with that. But, Moon, you have any idea why Greg is so jumpy? Why is Greg so jumpy? That might be a little too open-ended. Let's see. What? Okay, so in building a high concept like I would for a role-playing game, he's jumpy because of conspiracy theories. I love it. Conspiracy theories. Okay, so this is good. I'm drawing a little diagram I'll share later. You know what? Fuck all that. I'm going to share it now on the screen because we have the visual ability to do this. Unless it becomes too hard. But in the past, I've done a Google drawing, and we're going to destroy this dude's life tonight. His name is Greg. Please forgive us, Greg, for the voodoo that we're accidentally going to inflict on you. But you know, we're pushing 8 million people on the planet, right? So the odds that we're going to come up with a dude, and this is why there's disclaimers at the beginning of fiction, right? You know, sorry, Greg, any relation to a real dude named Greg who has a shitty day like we're about to give this dude. Sorry, not sorry, man. Yeah, here we go. So Greg, he is jumpy. We'll make this much smaller. We'll make it 18. Greg is jumpy. I don't have these things relationally attached to each other yet. We'll do that in a minute. But he's also jumpy because do what I say, man. Conspiracy theories. Theories. Conspiracy theories. This is fun. Alright. So Greg is jumpy because of conspiracy theories. This is all we know about this story so far. Now, I need just a little more information about Greg. I need to know what his profession is. So, you know, is he a polka dancer? Is he a chef at a Denny's? Is he a dog catcher? Is he a bounty hunter? Is he just a shitty accountant for a mining business that's slowly going bankrupt? Man, maybe too much coffee. All right. Let's take that idea. I'm not saying no. Tie that to his job. What's a job that needs too much coffee? I don't feel anything at all. Every time that comes on, I can't help it. I love that song. Oh, and then it picks up again. I forget about that bit. I remember the fake ending is coming. So Greg, he's jumpy. He's got conspiracy theories. See, Moon, I wonder if maybe we are just building our maybe this is he restocked the coffee beans at Costco. So Greg's profession, jumpy. What do they call those? I gotta hold down the right combination to clone this. Stock boy. Stock boy. But let's put the mega corporation on there, because anytime we can tag a proper noun for an affiliation is cool. Cost. We'll just call it Big C, because we can't use that other word that Moon said in the chat. But you know, it's a big box company. You can buy shit on the cheap. Everything's made in another country. He's a we'll say big isn't big enough. I like mega. Mega C. Yeah, he's a jumpy stock boy for Mega C. So here's the scene. Here's this formula. Here's the story embryo. A character is in their comfort zone. What is that like? What's their peak skill? And how are they using it to have a good time? So Greg is a jumpy Mega C stock boy. He's into conspiracy theories. They make him a little jumpy. So his Save the Cat is us building empathy. The first time we're telling a story and I talk about the camera, even in role-playing. I like things that are episodic. I like visual media. Treat your novel like you're writing exactly what you're seeing. Imagine I am blind and you're telling me everything that's on the screen. But it's going a little fast. You only have time to tell me what you think is important. The other thing is, you've seen this show before. This episode, you know it well enough that you can focus on only what's going to be important later. Greg is jumpy. He's a stock boy Mega C into conspiracy theories. And here's the thing, Moon. It's his day off. And he's got free time. Suddenly Mega C isn't saying, go here, restock this. Who is Greg? What does he do for fun? What is he the best at? And let's show the audience him just fucking rolling high numbers of success on everything that he tries to do today. You know, I imagine Greg actually, even if he's a depressed kind of dude, unless this is a story where you want to start off with a black note, and no, to start on a black note and not an upbeat, happy note means your whole story is going to kind of be a shitty, shot in a great palette story. There's nothing wrong with that, but you know, try the happy story first. So Greg stands out on his balcony, and he takes a breath, and he almost has 1 point of self-esteem today, and he's going to go do the coolest. He's going to start his day thinking that he's going to do the coolest thing that he sets out to do. He's into conspiracy theories, so playing off of conspiracy theories, he's got lists. Greg has a list of the things he wants to do today. What's the biggest, most important thing on his list to get done that actually would bring him joy to check it off his list today, Moon? Moon says that, yeah, he's a stock boy. But you know what's really cool? Nah, man, like, that's just his day job. He balances plates. Let's do a smaller font. He balances plates at the local carnival. You know, if I had to remix that just a little bit, you know, he might even have some friends that are carnies. Because that's the other thing, like, as you start to tell a story and you mine your story, is this going to be a time where the camera is only ever on one dude? That's fine if you're telling a real small story, or a real intimate expose on one dude who you're just going to let the camera follow over his shoulder. But the carnival and Megacy give me two scenes. The scene is the smallest thing. Yeah, I mean, Greg is small right now. This is all we know about Greg. He barely has a life. But somewhere between running around these four ideas, Greg has a semblance of a life we can find him in the middle of, right? Greg. But these things do two things. Megacy is a proper noun. Carnival, I would spell it with a capital C. That is to say, it's a place. So now we know Megacy. Let me literally set the scene. All I have, if I'm just going to mine this and not make any more assumptions, we have two arenas, two back plates where we can kind of like, what was that show? What was that video game about the dream? Oh, Dream Daddy. Yeah, kind of like a JRPG dating sim. You've got a back plate, and you got two characters, one on each side of the screen. And this is Greg, and he's one of those characters. And we have bought, for $5, we've bought the Megacy DLC, and we've bought the Carnival DLC. So these are rooms where we can have Greg hang out in. And a plate balancer tells me that Greg has a little bit of agility. In fact, I'm going to make this a cool green color. And a stock boy tells me that he's got a little bit of strength. Now, you know, he's jumpy and he's into conspiracy theories, and I thought, oh, maybe you play Greg as the nerd because he's into conspiracies. Fuck yeah, dude. Moon is just all over it. Again, we have that time lag from Mars, but so he's riffing off this. He says, Greg wants to learn new tricks today. He'd also like to spend some quality with his pet chipmunk. You touch on some shit, Moon, whether you meant to or not. It's kind of like playing The Sims. When you're writing a story, you gotta stop and look at them like these little figures are on the table in front of you, and that you're actually pushing them around, getting them up to no good, and forging a path forward for their shitty, weird, and semi-exciting lives. So, he wants to learn new tricks. He wants to spend some quality time with his pet chipmunk. Save the cat. Yeah. I'm going to make these things red. Learn new tricks. And Moon, you just are introducing another character, and that's great. What's his chipmunk's name? Let's lean into mining. Let's distill everything about a chipmunk down into a name. hang out with X. Actually, I put double X's in a lot of my documents because I saw other people do it and it works. Alright, hang out with double X, the chipmunk. It doesn't have to stay that, it's just a placeholder. But see how already we are building Greg into a thing, because this is what we needed to tell the story. Today, Greg, so, boop, I need some music like, I need some shit. Yeah. I hope this doesn't have singing in it. A couple of these do. This is called warm-up suit. Here we go. Yeah. So here's Greg, and Greg, you know, he's having a good day. Greg doesn't have to work today, right? He wakes up just a little late, later than normal. No, he doesn't. Greg wakes up early. You gotta lean into what we know. So Greg wakes up early. Why? Because he's jumpy. Invoke that as quickly as we can. The first thing we see about Greg is he's jumpy. Pulling the shades. Scooting around his apartment like Humpty. Making some eggs. Spinning plates. Ah, he's spinning plates as he's making food. Yeah, what activities allow us to show quickly that he's got agility? Maybe he goes out to get a thing and helps a lady move a big heavy box or something because he's a stock boy. You know, we gotta hit these things as quickly as we can in a nice little montage. Throws his hoodie up, packs his go bag, has a light breakfast with lots of coffee. Here's to coffee. I raise my glass. So here we go. A character is in his comfort zone. Greg is spinning plates. What does it look like? He's spinning plates. He's making breakfast. He's being himself. He's thinking about his list. His peak skill, I would actually say, is agility over strength. His name is Chip. We're gonna hang out with Chip the monk. Maybe Chip is real cool, real laid back. He's a zen. Yeah. If Chip is the only other character in this, he needs to be a foil. He needs to be an anchor for Greg. So you'd think that a chipmunk would be like cracked out, but no, he's like a zen chipmunk. He's all like, "Peace be with you, Greg. Like, calm down, boy." Speaking some sense into him. Teaching him the way of the master. So here's the deal. He's getting ready to go, but then all of a sudden, you ever hear the analogy of milk run? It's like, hey man, I gotta go down to the store. Okay, so why do I give a shit? Well, I gotta get some milk, you know milk? Yeah. Well, I gotta get some. Cool, just fucking go. Stop talking about how you gotta get milk. And then he goes and he gets milk and he comes back. That was a shitty story, right? Or it can be like, hey, I'm hanging out doing my thing. Yeah, so where do we find Greg? In a couple scenes put together, Greg is doing the thing. Maybe he's spinning some stuff, he's practicing some tricks. Maybe because of his agility, he's one of those mofos that rides his bike with no hands. So maybe he's spinning plates. Yeah, what's the slightly gonzo version of him being the coolest he could be in the start of the story? Maybe we see him being cool with the plates, but then we see him doing more shit with the plates as he's riding down the sidewalk, trying to go to where he knows that Greg likes to hang out in the woods. On his way to the carnival, you know, you got this stretch of Highway 55 that gets a little more like a woodland area before it picks up into more of an industrial zone, so, yeah, that's where Chip hangs out. So what do you do? What do we know? What would be awful? All of a sudden, something isn't quite right. Something happened, and the characters now have a great need or obligation they must fulfill. The quest giver. Do we want to lean into paperwork? This music reminds me of how it's made, so if I have to riff off the music, we make it PG, and like Bob the Builder, he's gonna go to where Greg hangs out when they are cutting down a part of the forest. Now, it doesn't have to be Ferngully, they're not burning down the whole motherfucking thing, but they're burning down, they're cutting at least enough that it upsets Greg. And so now we have an impasse. Like, does Greg have magic powers? Is the Zen chipmunk gonna be like, whatever, man, it's just a home, nothing's permanent? Greg's jumpy. He's a conspiracy theorist. See, the moment that you put an obstacle in the character's path, you have done a little exercise that I like to call the soda machine. Greg is jumpy, but he's agile. If the soda got stuck in the machine, how would Greg solve that problem? And then he solves it, and if it's a sitcom, we all go, oh, Greg, like he solved that in such a Greg way, like every week, Greg gives us laughs. Could he do it? Or maybe Greg is a timid, jumpy dude, and kind of like Shazam style, he's got this mythical chipmunk that does most of the shit for him. We're only making plans for Nigel style. Maybe Greg doesn't get as much done as he could. Or maybe, he's his North Star when, Greg is agile and strong, but when it comes to making good decisions... So Greg is having a good time. He's riding his bike to where Chip hangs out. And they're cutting down part of the forest. And Greg is real agile, but he's jumpy. He probably spots... Greg... I bet it could take a... Greg might need some meds. He just might. I can see that he drives down, and there's a bit of a cul-de-sac down the highway where he hangs out. Kind of like where there was a housing development that never quite took off, so a lot of the houses are still abandoned. Maybe only out of 15, 2 or 3 people live on that block. And in the back is a bit of a forest grove, and maybe you just got something mundane. Something not gonzo. They're putting in a new telephone line, and they had to cut down a couple trees. But not in Gregland. Greg is into conspiracy theories, and so now he's wondering who he pissed off and how he can help his friend. And maybe as Greg is sitting there quivering, or he does the thing, the cool bike thing, maybe it's a bit of a dark thing, like maybe these are practice plates, and it's been said that he doesn't spend a lot of money on these, but he gets to the end of the thing, and Greg was going to stop closer to the woods, but he sees all these trucks and workmen, and he drops a few of his plates, and all of a sudden, as he's about to lose his shit, Chip comes up and he's like, hey dude, it's gonna be alright. And Greg is all jumpy, and he's like, well, I'm not sure what's gonna happen now, Chip. They're after me. They know I worked for Mega C as a stock boy, but that's just my day job. I balance plates at a carnival. So then the other way that you can do this stuff is, well, he needs something now. Well, maybe, where does the real obligation come from? Yeah, the conflict isn't there because Mr. Squirrel Guy is like, oh, well, whatever, trees are impermanent. So I'm not all that miffed that these dudes are here, but it shakes up this day. See how this thing is normal? What's the normal Greg? What's the save the cat Greg? And now let's dunk him. Let's have an awful baptism where we keel haul him over and he comes up and around. And is he still alive? Well, let's do that for another episode and do another episode. And so right now he's having a need. He's seeing the water come up to meet him, and he's like, oh shit, kind kind of the Matrix style. It's like, these dudes are after me. They're not really after him. Maybe as the audience, we know that Greg's full of shit. Maybe they really are after him, and that's the coolest, most best story. Maybe it's, yeah, maybe it is the Matrix stuff. Maybe the one dude kind of like sees Greg with his weird windbreaker and is just locking eyes with him. Like, I see you, dude. And maybe he's just some dude, bro, that's fucking with Greg. You know, does the thing where he points at his eyes, and then Greg's like, you and me, we're gonna have a talk next time we meet. From 50 yards away kind of deal. Shakes Greg to his core, he drops some plates. So now before he can go hang out with his circus friends, there's the real need, right? The conflict made the need. A milk run isn't a milk run anymore. Oh, I ran out of gas going to the gas station. Who does that? I've done it before. Something isn't quite right. Something happens. One of the other ways that you can do is we can say, you say, hey, I gotta go get some milk. And the other guy's like, cool, have a good time. What's the worst that could happen? You know that thing when all the characters are like, it's like, yeah, you know, this was gonna be fine. You would have just gone and got some milk and come back. But now we need some drama. Because you said, what's the worst that could happen? Filing out paperwork is one of my nightmares. Moon, am I making any sense there, brother? You getting some of this formula stuff down, right? Like, hey, you can change these pieces and parts around and you still will have made a chair. What's the story? Well, it kind of looks like this. A lot of people, when they look at it, that's not what they see. But if you really look at it cross-eyed from this angle, this is what a story is. Talking about this for an hour and 42 minutes, not so bad. This part in this song always makes my brain slow down, so that's part of the reason for this reprieve. We're going on 3 a.m. Episode 2. Storytelling and bullshit. This is Into the Night with Incomitatum.
We don't need your education. We don't need your thought control.
That's right, man. I found a soundboard. Do I really need a soundboard?
Okay, terrific.
All right, man. It's the virginal days of the internet. Well, Mr. Alan Mooney is the opposite of jumpy. He says he's too tired for anything to make sense. So the fact that Moon is probably in bed, listening to me on his phone or some shit, when he should be sleeping, is actually a huge blessing that you would stay up and give me some sand from your hourglass. That is that might seem like a meager offering to some, but Greg has a broken...
Probably shouldn't be spreading that gene pool around.
Okay.
July is National Baked Bean Month. Excuse me. Yes, a month in which we pay tribute to one of America's favorite, most healthful, and nutritious foods. I'm terribly sorry. As I was saying... Good Lord, this is terribly embarrassing. I'm so... Whoa, doggy! I guess I'd better...
Alright, that's enough of that. But you know what? It's my signal that's going out into the universe right now. And I think that was perfect. Aww. Moon says that he has learned a lot from me. I'm always honored to hear that, but at the same time, I'm just some dude who's flailing around in existence too. I know I'm gonna die, and that April 15th is tax day. Fuck yeah, dude. He says Greg needs to run to the store to get the new Beastie Boys book. So what did Moon just do? Let's walk back. Let's make these assumptions about Greg. Well, and then we'll just go back. We'll say that he wants to hang out with Chip because that's like an everyday thing, right? Because we want Chip in damn near every episode. Moon's getting it. Moon's getting it. He says Greg needs to run to the store to get the new Beastie Boys book, but when he gets there, he learns that they've sold out and will not get any more. Dude. So here, that revelation is that thing. Have you seen the vertigo effect? Seven examples of the vertigo effect. Muted. But it's like that revelation moment of, it's like, yeah, hey, I'm here to get the, you know, I just need the Beastie Boys, you know, maybe he likes it enough that he special ordered it, so that's extra shitty. He's like, yeah, you know, I put my $21 down. You can, what do you mean my name is not on the list? Yo, Greg, cool your jets. Not now, Chip. What do you mean my name's not on the list? I gave you my $21. We don't have any record of your name going on the list or that you gave us the $21. Here's the deal, dude. Like, not only don't we have any more, not only don't we have any more copies, but we don't have your name on the list. So even if we did have copies, we wouldn't give them to you. Wow, so the vertigo effect. I thought you said this was 7 examples. Good ones. Dumb. This is not the right movie. Anyway. You know, it's that revelation. It's where they push the camera in while they increase the aperture and you're like, what? His whole day comes crashing apart. Like everything hinged on him getting that book. And so Moon did the right thing. He's like, we know his comfort zone. I just want to engineer a different need. And all this stuff is modular, so that's when he gets dunked. That's when he goes around the wheel and his face hits the water and he's underneath. And we even have a note here called the anti-hero for some reason. Let me turn this down. Even though it's badass music. Alright. Moon says, by the way, the Beastie Boys did release a new book. Cool. I don't think I've ever listened to or read a single one Beastie Boy book. But I'm willing to try anything twice. So he needs that book. So maybe so getting dunked, going through the threshold, finding yourself in unfamiliar territorial waters. Here's where I'm going to leave the story some. He goes outside. He's a little disoriented. He goes out back. You know, he's going to lose the argument because Greg's agile, but he doesn't got a lot of social skills. He's jumpy. Again, conspiracy theories. Like, he gave this establishment $21. But now there's not any books and his money's gone. That's a double black flag on this scene. Kicking both balls, right? Dejected, he walks out the back. You know, it's one of those city areas that's just big enough, you know, go and come out whatever door you want. He's kind of in an alley. Maybe there's some chick back there who's into Beastie Boys music, whatever that looks like. Let's ride some assumptions. Beastie Boy chick. What's a Beastie Boy? What's a girl who's into Beastie Boys dress like? I have no idea. This girl is into Beastie Boys. This girl. These girls. So a girl like this is like, hey man, I heard you want that Beastie Boys. He's like, yeah, I want their new book. Well, she says, I can't just solve your problem for you right now because that would be the end of the story. That's not what she says. Have I watched Maniac on Netflix? Moon asks. I don't think that I've heard of it. Annie Landsberg and Owen Milgram are two strangers who are drawn to the late stages of a mysterious pharmaceutical trial. Each has a different reason for participating in the experiment. She is disaffected and aimless, fixated on broken relationships with her mother and sister, while he has struggled throughout his whole life with a disputed diagnosis of schizophrenia. Well, no, I hadn't even heard of that. But I'm willing to because, Moon, I like drama. And so, this sounds like it's a little like Legion. Does it do some unreliable narrator stuff with his schizophrenia where you're not sure what's real? Yes. Yes, Moon says yes. Cool, I like that stuff very much. I mean, one of my favorite movies of all time, I saw it 14 times in the theater, was Fight Club. That's like one of my top-level visual and storytelling pillars. Mine everything you can from it. Dingy, dirty, scrappy fisticuffs. Just enough danger to the action. You definitely don't want to be caught. Yeah. It's cray. Well, I'm not going to do it on my stream, Moon, but I will watch a trailer for it, and if the trailer isn't any good, then that probably will lead me into watching the first couple episodes. And who is this girl? Oh, I've seen her in a few things. Is that Jonah Hill? Looks like Jonah Hill before he ate the other Jonah Hill. Like, am I being awful? Like, Jonah Hill has a pudge to his face. Right? Am I just full of crap? And this is a different person. Fuck yeah. It's cray cray. Oh, it is Jonah Hill. Holy crap. Good for you, Jonah Hill. Looks like you lost some weight. Psychological dark comedy drama. Yeah, and in fact, it's weird because given her face, she looks like she's in this role, and no offense to her acting, I'm sure it's good, but she looks like she's made to be a foil for the chick that is in Legion. And, hey Moon, did you watch Mindhunter? Crap, yeah, dude. Mindhunter is pretty great. It's dark. But it's not dark in a gory way, necessarily. It's just unsettling that these are the kind of questions you have to be able to ask yourself and deal with people of questionable moral integrity in order to be able to do a particular job, right? I'm Incomitatum. This is Into the Night with Incomitatum, Episode 2, Storytelling and Bullshitting. I'm joined out there in the ether in the text chat by my friend Alan Mooney. Mr. Moon, Mr. Defy Woodworks himself. And I'm just shuffling some plates myself. I'm trying to teach my friend Moon specifically, since he's the only one in the room. Remember, the show must go on even if nobody shows up. Well, if one dude shows up, you make the show as much about him as you can, because he's the only motherfucker there. So, there you go, man. I hope I've made Mood feel welcome. I don't know how many more hours I'm going to do this thing. We're coming up on 2 hours. This weekend, I'm going to be at Wobbly Python's Drawing Circus. You can find that on Twitch. It'll be archived on YouTube. Look at Wobbly Python's Drawing Circus, 7 p.m. Mountain Time. Saturday, November 3rd. Wobbly Python's Drawing Circus. Yeah. I got a lot of role-playing ideas that I need to talk to another human being voice to voice with. Work some shit out in my head, but not in a vacuum. Moon's about to call it a night. I'm about to call it tonight. We got some nice little strummy music. I think I'm gonna stay on for one more minute. And then the song will be over. The song. What song? Mario Brava sleeps in a little later than he expected to. See? That is an amazing title. There's so much. I could make a whole story out of that. When you are on there, rock on, buddy. Yeah, and even if you don't catch it live, it'll be on YouTube. I gotta do so to prepare for that, I gotta do some technical tests to see if I got the right ports forwarded and all that on the whatever drawing software we use. So, well, there you go. This has been another live stream, a proof of concept, proof of life. Can I do this? Can I be a voice out there in the darkness? Will the great machine archive that this event ever happened after the aliens come out of the sky and mine our blood for their microchips? Who knows, man? Thank you for being here with me. Special thank you to Alan Mooney, my one true superfan. This has been Into the Night with Incomitatum, Episode 2. I hope to see you back here sometime, whenever. Stay frosty.